When I first heard that my subject was how to be a cartoonist, my first thought was, I really have no idea. But anyway, this is how I do it. So, this is my working week. And as you can see, my main activities are sleeping, sorting out the bins, and trying to think of funny things about Christianity. As a result of this strategy, one cartoon may be drawn, 1.5 on a good week. And here are some principles that I have found that have helped me reach these dizzying heights of productivity. I usually don't adhere to them. The first thing that people say to me is often, I'd love to be able to do what you do, but I just can't draw. But perhaps that is a bit like saying to a surgeon, I could never do what you do, I just wouldn't know how to cut people up. I think that, as with many worthwhile things in life, it is a case of persevering. As children, we draw all of the time, but as adults, we tend to forget to do fun things, so stop. It takes practice, so draw whenever you can. If it isn't very good, it doesn't matter at all. Just keep doing it. An important principle is you need to have fun. I started out doing cartoons when I should have been doing something else, and I think that that is often not a bad way to go about it. When people start paying you in any sphere of life, the pressure is on and it becomes harder to relax and enjoy doing it and do your best work. The reality for me is sadly sometimes a lot of gnashing of teeth and anxiety, but it doesn't have to be that way. So try to have fun. So what is the actual cartooning process? So here we go, this is a simplified version. But in my case, I start out by making tea, then scribble rough ideas down on scrap paper, talk my ideas over with someone, pace to and fro. Then I pencil in my ideas on the paper I'm going to actually use, ink in these pencilings, scan them, edit on the computer to make them look like that I wanted them to do in the first place, and then email them with an apology for lateness. Many cartoonists more advanced than I now draw electronically with a graphics tablet or a tablet computer. Goodness. The most common question to ask a cartoonist if you can't think of anything to say is, where do you get your ideas from? The best answer that I've heard is, I think of them. I didn't come up with that myself, it must be said. Now here are some ideas gathering secrets. First of all, unplug. Turn off social media, turn off the TV, turn off your music. For some reason, I find that reading and ideas generation are compatible, but apart from that, boredom and quiet tend to produce the most helpful environment if I'm having to think of the cartoons myself. Get out and about, live life, eavesdrop. Eavesdrop in queues and cafes, join queues specifically for the purpose of eavesdropping. And here I have a cartoon that is an example of an overheard conversation. This is people who have used the phrase going forward await their punishment. Humiliation, physical pain, walking around holding a sign saying, I'm an idiot. Carry a notebook. Sorry, we're still on ideas. Carry a notebook. I have about 5 notebooks on the go in different sizes for different social settings. Talk to people. This can happen online, but ideally face to face. It makes it easier when cartooning if you pick your topic. The word that people who write books on this talk about is a niche. If you decide that your cartooning topic is current news, you are competing with the best and it will be very difficult to be noticed. However, if you set out to be, for example, the best cartoonist on the subject of wheelbarrows, then becoming the world's top wheelbarrow cartoonist is within reach, and you will be highly thought of within the wheelbarrow community. This has been my philosophy anyway. I should just add that you should ideally avoid church or cycling as your subjects, because all the ideas have been used up. Learn from other people. I've learned a lot from other cartoonists. And in this example, the National Flower Rota, I could point to the rotas on the wall as an example possibly of the kind of thing I might have learnt from Jean-Jacques Sempé, who draws lots of the same thing. William Heath Robinson famously drew contraptions and absurdities, but also people doing jobs and getting on with tasks. But I've also learnt from other cartoonists like Lernig, who taught me more about drawing human emotions, and David Shrigley, who taught me to relax and draw utter rubbish. You'll also do well to learn from other forms of art, not just cartoonists. You're more likely to find me in the design section of the bookshop than the cartoon one, looking at how to lay things out and how to make them look good on paper. But as well as learning from others, do your own thing. Don't just think that what you do has to look like any other particular cartoonist because they are popular. I started out entirely unable to draw people, so I focused on vacuum cleaners because I knew what shape they were. Use your sadness and anger. If there's injustice in the world, if there's an unpopular truth, then drawing about it on the one hand gives you a chance to say what you think, and who knows, perhaps even change something. But I'm also a believer in cartooning as therapy. I find drawing has helped me to give expression to what I'm feeling, which I think can only be a good thing. This is a very mild example. After service coffee, this is the time when newcomers can get to know the congregation. This is my frustration with sometimes the unfriendliness of church, but you can do better and think of bigger issues to address. Lastly, understand marketing. Now this sounds incredibly dull, but is incredibly important. Learning to tell other people about what you do. This is where social media becomes incredibly useful and you're allowed to turn it back on again. It is very easy to set up a WordPress site or a Twitter account. Barriers to starting new projects and getting them seen are very low. But once again, remember to have fun. The ease with which you can start things online means that if something doesn't really work, you can try something else. I hope these bits and pieces have proved useful, and I'd love to talk to you more about it. Do let me know how you get on.